A doctor in Oregon is being accused of injecting a woman with rubbing alcohol instead of a local anesthetic, and how she's now looking to sue. Sarah Blackman says she was having a small procedure on her foot. The doctor reportedly didn't check to see if the area was numb before the procedure began, and when she asked for him to stop, he told her to, quote, just get it over with. Blackman claims that he was in a rush to leave the clinic and didn't want to wait. She later went to the hospital with complications and believes they injected rubbing alcohol, that it left her permanently injured.
Joining us now is our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes. Khalif, first of all, this sounds like a nightmare. But if these allegations are true, is this considered ordinary medical malpractice, or does this cross the line into something potentially more serious?
In terms of something criminal, it potentially could. But I mean, looking at the route for malpractice, it's just like any other tort that we talk about: duty, breach, causation, and damage. The only difference between these medical malpractice type of claims and a typical tort is it's specific to what the duty is. What is the standard of care? What a typical negligence claim: you're driving a car, you have a duty not to run into someone. Wow, you hit me, you've breached that duty. Well, this is a little bit different. If you're talking about medical malpractice, you have to figure out, well, it's the standard of care that I performed on you similar to what the standard of care within the normal practice would be, and if it isn't, then now I will be able to, as a person, the plaintiff, to be able to bring a claim against you specifically for breaching that duty. And now I have to point to, but for you doing that, I've now been caused some damage, some permanent damage. This woman is seeking $13 million for the damage to her foot. Multiple days later, when we go to the doctor, she alleges that they contacted her, Kaiser Permanente, and said, yes, we accidentally injected you, the doctor did, with rubbing alcohol, and we'll send you some information about it after. She never received that, and then that's why she brought the lawsuit. So I think this case is going to be extremely problematic. On the criminal side, I mean, you'll have to show some type of intent, some type of malice. It's going to have to be more than accidental. I mean, and even if this was an accident, that which would clearly fall under the duty, breach, causation, negligence aspect, it's how do we get past that to breach that line of criminal? I think it's going to be a long stretch. But some of the same information that you would point to for this civil case, you could potentially use in the criminal case.
If you're the defense team, how do you try to show that this wasn't reckless, that it was a mistake, when you've got her basically screaming, in front of the jury? Like, how do you defend that?
Well, you'll say, I mean, again, because it's knew or should have known that this could have occurred. So are you keeping these two items in very similar location? Like, is the anesthesia and the rubbing alcohol, are they sitting right next to each other, the same color bottle? Are they labeled? Have you had these type of things happen in the past? When it happened, what occurred? I mean, I want to see all the emails if I'm defending or if I'm the plaintiff. This could, unlock the case and let us know exactly which direction, how strong it is, how quick we settle. A lot of that will come from the internal communications that were done in the immediate aftermath of this, in recognizing the process and the procedure. I mean, what is the standard of care for a person that complains about, pain? Is the standard to go back and check? Is the standard to give more? And obviously an expert will be able to talk about what and how you handle those type of situations.
I think a lot of people go into a doctor's office and essentially trust that they're being taken care of. What are the legal steps or a patient can do to protect themselves if they think something is going wrong?
Well, I mean, obviously, the first thing that, as this woman did, is you want to bring it to the doctor's attention, right? Because if you're not informing them that there is something off, then they're obviously going to keep going. Now, this doctor, even after being informed, continued because there was some time constraint issues that he had to get out of the building. I think all of that is bad for the doctor, all bad for the hospital, and you're now going to try to pivot and try to figure out what you can do to remedy that. I mean, if these procedures are recorded, that would be helpful for both sides as well. Discovery is going to play a crucial role in this case. Can't overemphasize that. While right now on this face, it seems like the complaint is extremely strong, but on the other side, if they have a mountain of evidence to prove or disprove what she's saying, then it could instantly turn. But right now, this is looking like settlement for Kaiser Permanente quickly.
All right, we'll continue to follow the case. Thank you, Khalif. More topics with Khalif coming up here next hour.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.